asked this honorable committee to note the High Court ruling that declared the IG's order to unilaterally ban protests in Nairobi was not just unlawful but unconstitutional and violates the core tenets of Article 24. Chair, number 3, we want to advise that obligation to assist police to maintain peace and order that is suggested in Clause 7. We note that the organizers have a civic and moral responsibility and duty indeed to maintain peace, but they cannot be obligated to maintain law and order, which is an express mandate of the police. In this case, we believe that this Clause 7 is police are abdicating their primary duty and vesting this authority to the organizers and protesters. Chair, we believe that this clause attempts to legislate a moral duty which cannot be practically enforced. Number 4, Chair, is as provided in this bill in Clause 7, notification. Chair, we have noted that the procedure for this notification is not expressly provided for. Definite timelines are required, we believe, and we also want to state that it is important to provide for response or acknowledgement. Chair, we want you to note that our observation as a commission, and indeed your own observations, we believe, is that the regulating officers should be obligated to acknowledge receipt and therefore cure the mischief that has been observed, that the regulating officers have consistently refused to acknowledge notification and claim that they did not receive it. We want, Chair, that this honorable committee notes that this notification should not be construed to mere permission. Chair, this notification is to enable the security officers to provide security for the protesters and also to inform and provide security for the members of public. Chair, I'm coming to an end. You gave us 5 minutes. I'm a teacher and I like to observe time. We want to note in this regard that the Special Rapporteur on the Rights of Freedom and Peaceful Assembly of the UN, where this is an international instrument in which Kenya is a signatory, says the following, and I quote, "Notification should be acknowledged in timely and expeditious manner. Should authorities fail to acknowledge, the fact that they did not acknowledge should be assumed that the protesters' request has been construed to mean that it does not present any problem. Should authorities seek to restrict the assembly in cases of emergencies, for example, they should inform the protesters in writing and in timely manner with fulsome reasons." End of quote. We also believe that this clause offends Article 24 as the core content on the principles of limitation. Chair, number 5, Clause 13B1, which deals with the place of gathering. We believe first and foremost that the restricting the place of gathering to a physical place offends the current trends in technology where there are online spaces, digital spaces, and these should also be included. It also, we believe, it negates the core content of the principle of assembly where protesters are restricted to particular places. Chair, the law provides, for example, that in picketing, that the demonstrators should hand over their grievance to a target audience, and therefore restricting these protesters to a physical place, we believe offends this. Chair, we want to remind this honorable committee that one of the leaders in this country did state, and I quote, that he will allow demonstrators to demonstrate outside the city center and places like Kasarani na nje huko, end of quote. This negates the core content And we believe that the Human Rights Council dealt with this matter in their resolution 2022/10, and I quote, where it urges states to facilitate protesters to public spaces, protecting them against any forms of threat. So, Chair, we believe that restricting them to certain places offends this particular advisory and article, the articles that are hereby stated. Last but not least, Chair, is 6, Clause 8.2 wants to obligate the organizers to clean up after the demonstration. Chair, we want you to note, as we note, that it is the first duty of the state to provide services, including cleaning up public spaces, and that is why we give them our taxes. We want to note that demonstrators are taxpayers, and therefore they should not be obligated to do this. Chair, we note once again that the demonstrators have a moral duty that we are seeking to legislate without clear mechanisms and, we dare say, difficulties in enforcement. Chair, we want to remind this honorable committee of cases where somebody went, and a leader actually, went and dumped human waste in Jacaranda, and it was to prevent, apparently, the ODM from demonstrating there. We also want to note another leader dumped manure in a stadium in Muranga, Ihura Stadium, to apparently stop Azimio to have their demonstrations there. Chair, if this bill were law, ODM would have had to clean up the human waste, and Azimio would have had to clear the manure, which in our view is mischievous and is open to abuse. Spontaneous vis-a-vis planned protests at Clause 7.22, we acknowledge that they are spontaneous protests, and these are provided for in international law. However, this has not been provided for and should be provided for separately. For example, when a mirror vehicle with without imputing any motive, or any vehicle hits a pedestrian, we note that there are times when they are spontaneous, and for example, or when we have seen abductions, we note that they are spontaneous protesters, and this is provided for. We want to note that there is no time to inform police, and we actually want to say that this attempt to, in Clause 7.22, the Human Rights Committee of the United Nations and Article 37, we're saying that these assemblies are required to direct responses on this is an emergent issue, and they should be coordinated and equally protected as provided for in the ICCPR and Article 37. Chair, those are our major concerns. There are others that are in our document and are clearly stated in a matrix, and we want to say that we have had a previous advisory to the Honorable House that advises on the assembly, freedom of assembly and the right to assembly, and we do not refer to it, and this has been sent to you. In conclusion, Chair, we want to say that we are requesting this Honorable House or the member to withdraw this bill. We believe that there are very important tenets in this bill, and we believe that we have information that there may be Public Order Management Act amendment coming through, and we believe that these matters can be dealt with better and more exhaustively in this amendment, so that we ensure that human rights are put into this. So, Chair, This is our submission, and we wish to remind the members of this committee and of this honorable house that power is transient. We know that in the past there have been honorable members of this house that have sought refuge in our commission when they were out of power, and they were actually suffering from bills that they may have actually been involved in their enactment. So, Chair, we wish to submit this and ask that you consider our submissions. Thank you very much.
More radio, 88.2 FM. We are in charge.